Wednesday Night Dash is over, but we still got plenty of real racing to talk about, and we had our fun race. We'll
Yeah,
go into
that
that.
was fun.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm not sure that would ever be a league, but we'll go
No,
into that here in a little bit. And as you can see, Eric and I are not by ourselves tonight. So this is FR Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Flook,
I'm Eric Richardson.
And I'm Takato.
and happy birthday, Taka.
Thank you very much. Cheers to that.
He was pre-gaming, yeah. This is like real race control. You're drinking cocktails while doing race control.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it added to the oh shoot, what lap do I throw the caution in?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I gotta make sure he's still awake over there. It's like,
yeah,
like lap
I was sitting there
27.
focused.
I'm like, you still good? You're still good over there? Like, yep, ready. I'm like, all right.
Here's what I think we should do. Get a beer league where we throw a competition caution or red flag, break it up in stages, got to take a shot or a beer, turn off damage, and just let it be a total demolition derby. Stage 1, you actually race to the stage. Stage 2 kind of devolves at that point, and then stage 3 is demolition derby, who can get to the line with the fewest meatballs,
beating the crap out of each other.
Yes.
There is a on the iRacing League or Reddit or something. They're talking about beer leagues for racing, and there is a group that said what we do is we do a stage break, we pit, and then everybody had to be on a Zoom call with the camera open. It didn't matter if it was on your phone or your gaming PC or another computer, but you had to be on Zoom. You had to have your camera on, and on your camera, you had to chug a beer before you could leave the pit. And then you did the second half of the race after chugging your beer.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they had somebody monitor every person on the Zoom call to make sure. I'm like, that's not empty. I know that is not empty. Don't try to cheat.
That would actually just be a lot of fun.
Oh, and hello to Stadium Scene TV. We've got the you're watching Friday night. We're on our channel. Saturday night, the replay is over on Stadium Scene TV now. So done that for a couple weeks. Getting the show out there. So the fun. Speaking of fun racing, this has kind of become a tradition. We finish up our Wednesday Night Dash season, and we have invite everybody back who raced throughout the year to come in and do something different. Last year was a little more traditional. We did a GT3 45-minute Daytona sprint with 8 times clock, which ended up being the precursor for the GT3 season this year, and we redid that same race to close that season out. This year,
a little bit of a setup for the 24 hours at the time.
It was too. That was also kind of a test for that. And I remember Hunter won the race and then got disqualified for turning around and doing his donuts before everybody else was done. But anyway, so this year we're like, okay, let's do a little crazier. So the rules are we have to go to a track configuration that we had not been to, and we had to use a car or cars that we did not use during one of the Wednesday Night Dash seasons. What did we come up with, Eric?
We did Old Atlanta, the 2008, before it became ass. And picked the Gen 87s or the Gen 4s, get it right. The Gen 4 87s and current trucks.
And we did a multi-class oval race.
Yes.
And it was hilarious. It was hilarious hearing crew chief because the trucks, the Gen 4s were the fastest car. And our good friend Chad Clean Sweep Winstead stopped by and raced with us, and of course won the event.
The funny part is there were no 87s.
There were no 87s, which I was mildly disappointed, but I'm not surprised.
But the comparison with the Gen 4 and the trucks were much better and faster in the turns.
They were, absolutely.
But the Gen 4s were rockets.
Until you got to the turn.
Our friend Tyler Victory. And just blew past you on the straightaway.
And then you got about 20 laps into a run, and it was like driving on ice after
Yep,
that.
bye tires.
What did Hunter? What was his analogy? It was pretty funny. I forget what it is. I'll have to go back and listen.
Felt like he was on the Polar Express.
The Polar Express.
Oh.
That's right.
But it's so funny. This race compared to most of our races, we have a little bit of chatter going back and forth. But
This was good.
Some races are super quiet. We were talking and laughing the entire way.
Oh, this was great banter the whole time. I loved it. Like, it's just the best part about it was there were 3 trucks. Everybody else was in Gen 4. The 3 trucks were Tyler, were Eric, and it was me.
Yeah.
And I just this is the second time I've driven a truck in this calendar year. I did a Kansas race and I did okay. I finished like 11 out of 20, 22, something like that. It was an okay run. But I just something on Atlanta, I was just way off pace and I couldn't figure it out. And every time I tried to push, I scraped the wall probably, I don't know, 10 times in 75 laps. But wait, who won the truck class? Point the other direction.
Sure. Yeah.
Point the other direction on my
that
screen.
way.
That's right. Winner. The tortoise wins. So Tyler, I don't know what happened. He decided he was going to stop for fresher tires.
Yeah, he brushed the wall and then I was catching up to him and I got around him. And then once I got past, that's when he pit.
Yeah, he pit and then he came out of the pit and he just totally ate it coming around turn 2. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to finish last in the class. Okay, cool. And then we're about 8 laps to go.
70, I think lap 71.
Yeah, so we're like, 5 to go. And all of a sudden I hear you and Ian, Ian's in the Gen 4, Ian Miller is like, oops.
I was going fast. I got loose. He got loose. Then I just got sailed into the wall. Then I tried to drive it back around.
Ian also had a few cocktails before the race tonight, too.
Yeah, he did.
So Ian takes out Eric. And all of a sudden, here I come.
I don't know. I think I half took myself out too, trying to correct it.
Yeah, and so I come walking, or I come slowly, Sunday driving by. There's Eric sitting down on the apron. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna win the class. And then Chad came around in the Gen 4 and lapped me with 2 to go. I'm just like, I'm not even fighting this. I'm winning this class, baby.
So I gotta ask, what paint did I have on my truck tonight?
The only thing I remember about it, and I was chasing you down, so I only saw the backside, is you had an extreme sim racing and it had kind of like a green outline with it.
Yeah, it definitely should have been my Ghostbusters purple and green truck.
That's not what show. I mean, maybe it just didn't update for me, but
that's why I loaded into the Sidekick, and then I saw the replay. I'm like, that's not what I loaded in.
I've been going into the web and loading it in Trading Paints, and then Sidekick picks it up.
I haven't even touched Trading Paints since their whole issue.
Yeah, they haven't said a word about it, which is weird, but the web interface is still fine as far as I'm concerned. I changed my password, whatever. Changed my password in Trading Paints, and so I'll still use it to upload paints or select something from the gallery. And
okay, I might do that.
Yeah, then I use then Sidekick picks it up. So that's and Sidekick is a pretty solid app. It's just I wish it had a easier way to load your own.
Yeah, as I loaded it in and pulled it up on my cars, and it was there, and that's disappointing.
Yeah, it didn't do it for on my side, so it's okay. We're always shouting out our friends at Extreme Sim Racing.
Yeah, I had the extreme sim racing truck then,
and and I'm like, you know what? This is the cheesiest win you could possibly get. Where it was, yeah, this is like Cal Naughton Jr. and Talladega Nights stuff where it's like, yeah, here you go. You were ahead when everybody else wrecked. Here's your trophy. And I'm just like, you know what? This never happens. And I went and I ended up doing burnouts.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, I don't care. I won the class. I earned this moment. As cheesy as this is, I'm taking it. But what was Cal's line in the movie? He's like, you can't take it. I've been waiting a long time for you to call my name, and you can't take this away from me. I may have won on a technicality.
Yeah, that was so fun to watch. Just going back
drink already.
But anyway, got the Ford Cup here. So as of this broadcast, it might fall apart by the time this airs, but Ford has a tentative agreement with the UAW to go back to work, which is great. Great news. Sounds like they got a pretty good deal. So hopefully they get that ratified and get those auto workers back to work. And I'll ratchet up the pressure on what is Chrysler calling us? Stellantis or something? I honestly had no idea until they went on strike, and it's like, yeah, Ford, GM, and Stellantis. I'm like, what the hell is Stellantis? But apparently that's what Chrysler's parent company is called now.
All right, go for it.
All right. So
behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Down to the wire again.
Yeah.
2 seasons in a row. Unfortunately, you were on the short end this time.
Yeah, I was telling Taka before you got on here, I drove that last lap wrong. And Derek made a great move, got to the inside, and that was it.
Oh man, I had at the beginning, there was kind of a pile up where there's just kind of nowhere to go. And I don't know. I think Hunter kind of got loose, and then Brian locked up and bounced off the walls, and then I plowed right into the back of Brian. And if it would have happened maybe 2 or 3 laps later, it would have been perfect timing because I would have taken my fast repair. But instead, I had to fuel save it to get me into an okay for the third stint. And I finished about 3.5 seconds behind you guys.
Yep.
I did lead 16 laps though, thanks to that alternate strategy. So it's been a good week for me. I don't know about you.
No, congrats to Derek.
Yeah,
man.
Derek
What a
was
racer.
Really good. Yeah, man, he was explaining when Phoenix, like he just obliterated me at Phoenix. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going into the turn. I'm going to the roll bar here and doing this. And he's just like making adjustments on the fly every lap. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to stay on the wall. Like,
and he ended up winning 5 races. Yeah, I think it was 5 on the year. And just had great runs week after week. It's a lot of fun to race with.
Yeah, I feel like, sitting down with Justin Yee for the ARCA coaching made a huge difference just in general for me. The other thing I made an adjustment on that helped, not tonight, but I mean, yet I ran a terrible race. but every other week I noticed like my throttle control was a little too bouncy. Like I need to, I want to come off just a little bit, and it comes off like a quarter to a third. So I started kind of cranking up the damper on the throttle and make it a little more stiff. And it's like, okay, now that I've made the throttles more stiff, that, I can come back to 50% a lot easier. Where before it would be like down to 10, like, oh, no. That made a huge difference, 1. But 2, coming into the IR18 and just hanging with the leaders, like it was pretty competitive outside of Belle Isle, and my arch enemy Laguna Seca. But actually the internet went down during a thunderstorm during that race. So I was spared. I was spared from my arch enemy. It's just a lot of progress was made this season. I'm really, really thrilled about that.
A couple fun things with the race Tuesday. we had 125 laps at Michigan, and we had 40 lead changes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that many in any sort of race.
40 lead changes. But the other thing with Michigan too that I noticed, I didn't, for the first probably 10, 15 laps or so, it was kind of hold your breath at times, because you'd get into the slipstream, you're in fifth gear, you punch it to six, and all of a sudden you'd make these monster runs past everybody. And 1 minute you're in last place, sitting fifth, sixth, whatever it was. Next thing you know, you're like leading, you're back in second, and it's just like you just made these monster runs in a very
there's
short
one lap.
distance.
I think I punched it and passed 2 cars in one turn to sail out to the front.
One thing I want to notice after on the fun race tonight, Ian got black flag for speeding in the pits, had to drop to the end of the line. And we're coming around, he's in a Gen 4 car. So Eric and I are kind of not fighting it out. All of a sudden I look in my mirror and I'm like, oh no, here he comes. And he comes in, and under New Atlanta rules, he would have had to give up the position because he kind of tucked under the line a little bit, or where the line is now. But we're going into turn 3 of our first green flag lap of the second stint. And it's like, he's going to do us 3 wide. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back a little bit and slide in behind Eric. I'm not going 3 wide on cold tires.
I was fully planning on going 3 wide.
I'm like, nope, not doing it.
And yeah, you should have seen the restart at the beginning. Tyler actually pushed Chad at the beginning because Chad was going to start in third, because he's like, I'm not doing it with cold tires. And I was watching the lead, and the green flag dropped, and just watched Tyler just woo, and it's like, oh shoot, nice little tap apparently.
The other fun thing with the race Tuesday, with Hunter actually taking pole, that took a point away. Then I had to lead.
Oh yeah, because you started second, didn't you?
I think I was third or fourth. I really didn't have a great qualifier. So the final result was 44 thousandths of a second. If we had switched that to where I won and Derek got second, we would have tied for the championship.
Hunter was the spoiler. That would have been weird. Like, what do we do?
Tiebreaker.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well, the fun thing is with the setup, we take ourselves out of the winner's prize, so it would have been just gone over to Derek.
Oh, you started fourth.
Yeah, I think you were ahead of me too.
I did, yeah. So Hunter ran a 32.6. Derek was a 32.633. I was a 32.663. You were a 32.667. And Brian was a 32.804.
That was close.
Yeah, the top 4 were all within 66 thousandths of a second of each other. And we just need to get the numbers up on that league. It's like,
if you're listening,
we can't broadcast it, but good God, stop being narcissist. This is fun.
Yeah, if you're listening, you want to come out Tuesday nights and just beat down doors on cars that don't have doors. This is your spot. If we could get 10, 12 just consistent drivers, the racing has been tremendous.
It's been phenomenal. Like, way better than anything I've done in a Class C race.
There's been 2 seasons, 2 series championships that literally come down to the photo finish at the last race. How many races are we less than a second for a finish? And maybe 3 and 4 cars in that.
Side note, ARCA this week is at Scuba. To scuba is that how you say it? I don't know. The one that starts at TSU. That's such a weird place.
Will not be driving that one.
No. I barely want to do a Formula V at that place, and an ARCA car, no thanks. I'm curious what the participation numbers look like, and they're probably pretty high because it is a free track, and people
better
are
than Delara
insane.
Dash.
R.I.P. Delara Dash. All right, let's see here. So we've had a couple days of this. Oh, yeah, we've had on average. The minimum we had some early mornings where it was like 12 or 13 cars, but during main part of the day in the US, there's 2 or 3 full stints of of cars, including there's only 2 last time. There was 18 and 16, and then there was 23, 21, and 22 in the one that ran at 6:45.
Speaking on different series, I like what Carburetor Cup is doing. They're getting a lot more variation rather than just
varied it
4
up.
tracks.
Other than Charlotte, Daytona, iRacing Superspeedway, Michigan. Those are the 4 that ran. Yeah, the Carb Cup schedule is great. It's at Auto Club this week.
I have to jump in some of those.
They put Texas in there, which okay, Texas. They're doing back-to-back iRacing Superspeedway. You're gonna cave and get iRacing Superspeedway, aren't you?
No.
It's the stupidest track ever. 3 mile. It's a 3-mile track with 4 or 5 lanes, and I actually finished second in a Carb Cup race there once, just strictly because of pure stupidity on other people's parts. But can you imagine if you got like 20 cars and you had like 5 lanes of 4?
Oh,
that would be just like nope. But like I want to know what the banking on that is, but it's like what's Daytona like 30?
32.
Yeah.
No, they're 33.
Talladega's got to be
Dega's 32.
32. Yeah. I think like
Bristol's
iRacing
36.
Yeah, iRacing Superspeedway might be like 35, 36. It's ridiculous. Like this is, I know it's not a real track. Someone said, "Oh, they should really build this." Like, no, they shouldn't. No. That should never.
Not safe.
It should never see the light of day ever, even in a video
Bristol.
Game. Yeah. Yeah, Highline will be at Bristol this week. That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, good friends over there at Highline.
Yeah, good friends with Kendall and Chad and
a couple of our drivers run with them quite a bit.
Colton didn't race this season with them, but he has in the past. It's crazy with Colton. He runs up front every week in our league, and then he goes into the Highline League and he's like 20th. It's like, oh man. And they're that is a talented group, very talented group.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm almost half considering maybe jumping in and joining their truck series, but it runs on Tuesdays.
I thought you were talking about moving BCD to another night.
Yeah, we need to check out with the group and see if something might work.
I'd be cool with a Friday.
Yeah, if we go Fridays, then I'm going to lose a lot of days. But if I'm running something else during the week and I'm picking up the C-Series races, I might be okay with that.
I think you'd get a lot more people if you did it on Friday or Saturday or even Sunday night, to be honest with
you. It's something that we can look at. I do want to check with the group that we have.
Yep. We got a good group there. We
got a fun set that's running with us. So if we can maybe find something a little bit different.
Put Milwaukee on the schedule.
Yeah, I need to start looking at that. Season's over now. Gotta get some fun races in there.
Speaking of races, Formula One was at Coda. NASCAR was at Homestead. Where do you want to start?
Oh, both are fun. Let's get to the Formula One. We tend to talk that one first, and we'll finish up with NASCAR.
So let's see here. We have a sprint weekend. We have everyone complaining about the sprint weekend,
which I paid zero attention to.
Who won the sprint? Was it Max?
I have no idea.
I don't even remember.
Actually.
All I know is 2 drivers were disqualified.
Yeah.
Which was wasn't it pole and second place were disqualified?
Yeah. So
LeClerc and
Charles Leclerc. He
and Sir Lewis.
Isn't it hilarious? Like I almost forgot. Like they put a wood board. You got these cars. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and they put a wood board underneath these cars. Like, come on.
And the disqualification was the board was a little too thin.
Yeah, it just basically
means their cars were too low and skidding the ground, and
they measure the board. There was an interesting point made that it's like they randomly select 2 cars or a handful of cars to do this board measurement, and I guess the Ferrari missed by like fractions of a millimeter. I mean, it was absurd how close it was. Oh, this is alleged. Like, they've not officially said this. I don't know how much Lewis missed by, but he lost his second place. I mean, he might have caught Max had he had another 5 laps or so. Maybe even 2 laps. Max was complaining about his brakes all race. Yelling at his engineer, "Stop talking to me when I'm trying to brake." And,
as a result of those, we also had the first American to score points in
shout out to Logan Sargent. Yeah, double
points for Williams.
Yeah, when was the last time both Williams drivers scored points in the same race?
Jeez, I couldn't even tell you.
1996.
Something like that. It's been a while.
It's been a while, so. Yeah, Lewis gets disqualified. Probably not officially locks in Checo finishing second, but I mean, he's up like 40 points now after the disqualification or something like that.
Yeah, he ended up with actually a pretty decent run.
Yeah,
I think he was
bad qualifying run.
4th or 5th place at the end.
A lot of drivers were complaining about the track, saying it needs to be repaved. Max heard that. Yeah, Max was throwing a fit about it. He said, "This is not up to Formula One standards. This place needs to be repaved." I'm gonna guess
they didn't have the tire issues from.
Yeah, right. That is true. But I'm gonna guess Coda's probably never been repaved because that place is only 12, 13 years old.
I haven't been around long.
No, I mean, this place is barely over a decade old, so probably the original track. But it's, a wood board. But anyway, I was trying to make this point earlier. They said, okay, so you spot check and Lewis, gets disqualified. LeClerc gets disqualified. And it's like, why would you stop there? Like, you should start pulling boards from these other cars and checking them, because probably there would have been more disqualifications.
The whole field.
Yeah, probably 2/3 of the field, if not more.
Except for Red Bull.
Yep.
Yeah, they were up. I think Red Bull would have been fine. Somebody showed a picture of Max and Lewis's cars going through the same turn, and it was pretty clear that Red Bull sat higher than the Mercedes. Yeah, Ocon would have been, or no, was it Ocon or Gasly who withdrew early?
Ocon. He had the contact with Piastri on the opening.
Right. Well, we're going to the Mexico Grand Prix this weekend.
supposed announcement. Maybe,
He denied
maybe
it.
not.
He denied it. He's like, I'm not retiring. Yeah, Checo, there was a rumor from one of his quote unquote executive from one of his sponsors who said that he was going to announce his retirement at the Mexico Grand Prix. And when asked about it last weekend, he said, no, I'm not. News to me.
The joy of rumors. Somebody probably had fun on social media and was like, hey, check this out. I'm going to start something. Let's see.
No, it was I'm at the rich dude at a party rumor spreading. I like these Western Hemisphere races because they start on normal hours. Like this week, it starts at 1:00 my time.
That's great start time. I actually will not be watching. I will be in attendance at the Colts football game.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I have not been to a game at Lucas Oil Stadium. I took the tour when it opened, and then I moved.
This will be the third or fourth game I've been to.
Do you know there's a new movie called Ferrari coming out this winter?
Oh, interesting. I didn't know it.
Yeah, Adam Driver. He was there promoting the U.S. Grand Prix.
I think I've heard about that.
I don't get many movie ads anymore. I think the summer was the last time, early summer was the last time I actually went into a movie theater and watched a movie. It was John Wick.
Hey, I went to the movies recently. You know what I saw? I saw Paw Patrol.
I heard that it wasn't as good as it should have been.
The Paw Patrol one?
Yeah.
It was pretty. I mean, this is a movie for 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. And so it's like when you hear like adult movie critics ripping a movie that was made for 4, 5, and 6-year-olds, I'm just going like, you know what, you should just shut up. Like, this is not made for you. Someone was complaining about the movies, like it was an infomercial for a bunch of toys that kids are going to ask for Christmas and their birthday. It's like, well, no shit. Like every children's movie is an infomercial for the round of toys that come out. Like, where have you been? Like, come on. Like toys, yes. Like kids' movies, toys. Like, duh.
It makes sense. Hey, but it makes it easier for Christmas shopping and birthday shopping. It's like, oh, I know exactly what they're going to want.
And the funny thing is, my kids love Paw Patrol, and they were starting to lose interest in it. And then now they're back interested in it again. Paw Patrol. When Paw Patrol, a bunch of dogs correcting the work of a bunch of irresponsible adults.
Hopefully it inspires a new generation of kids to be more responsible than us. I don't want to be responsible.
Yeah, it's like the Paw Patrol is like a kid who's like 12 leading a bunch of dogs. And you have these, you have the incompetent mayor, and you have this kid who always gets himself in trouble. And you have this guy who, runs a farm, some farmer. You got a guy who runs a deli. And it's like, oh no, my deli is on fire. I got to call a dog to come put the fire out because I'm an idiot.
That's a pretty accurate description.
Paw Patrol.
Hey, but if it entertains kids for a couple hours at a time,
it does. It does. I mean, it's a good cartoon. The first movie was really good, I think. I think it was actually pretty entertaining. My kids also for a while were really interested in Peppa Pig. And Eric, you're going to be closing in on that here relatively soon. So here, let me give you this warning here. As somebody who's now experiencing the direct result of kids who watch Peppa Pig, is Peppa Pig and her friends are a bunch of troublemakers.
Yeah, they are.
And I kind of think not only does at least one of my kids speak with a British accent when she says certain words, thanks to Peppa, she also is out there like causing trouble. And I'm like, this is Peppa Pig's fault. Stupid pig. Anyway, now they're into Bluey. Everyone loves Bluey now.
I've never heard of Bluey.
So it's on the Disney Channel. Yeah, it's on the Disney Channel. No, wait. Is it? Yeah, it's Disney. It's an Australian show. And it's actually kind of funny. It's this family of these dogs from Australia, and it's actually a pretty good message because it's like not only is it like entertaining for the kids, but it's a reminder that like adults generally take themselves too seriously, and that it's okay as an adult to have fun, which is what we do on a weekly basis here. We're having fun.
What's this fun you speak of?
Yeah, right. You can have fun. You can act like an idiot to a reasonable extent. And it's good. It's pretty funny. And what's hilarious is the guy who does the voice of Bluey's dad apparently was a punk rock band singer in like the late 90s, early 2000s before he became a voice actor. And so people are finding these songs and music videos from his band and playing them. It's like all I hear is Bluey's dad. It's like Bluey's dad is singing a punk rock song. But yeah, it's good stuff. I enjoy it. I think it's funny. Kids like it too.
That's what matters.
Yep.
NASCAR. Hey, here's a wild thought for you. What do you think NBC is going to spend a lot of time this weekend talking about at Martinsville?
The one thing that NASCAR banned. Because it's all over social media. Hey, remember last year when Ross Chastain did this?
Yeah, Ross Chastain decided that he was going to sacrifice his car and go full throttle into the wall.
And it's hilarious that NASCAR promotes it itself, yet they banned it.
My favorite video that came out of all of that is the reaction of the other drivers and spotters. And they played that one this week too. And Chase Elliott's like, what the hell?
I saw that one
breaking. You just see a car flying by you.
Yeah. And look, Joey Logano and his spotter just laughing on the radio, like, oh my God.
Man, NASCAR takes the fun out of everything. Come on.
I mean, that could have gone so bad if you would have come off the wall.
Oh, it could have been awful.
Oh man, that could have been really, really bad. It just because it wasn't, and because it ended up putting him into the last four. But the one radio we did not hear was Denny Hamlin, who he bumped out because of his move.
Race Sunday, kind of bland.
Yeah, it was.
You get in, run single file across the very top of the track, and that's pretty much it.
The Xfinity race, Dale Jr. took out his car he owns.
That's fun.
Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, he put Josh Berry into the wall. And they play the radio, and Junior's like, well, that sucks. Yeah, boss man puts his own car puts his own car that he owns into the wall.
So Christopher Bell wins, does not have to win to get in.
Call that.
You made it. Yeah, you had that one.
2 for 2.
I'm 1 for 2.
I don't know. I mean, let's see. I mean, a lot can happen. Martinsville gets pretty messy.
I think Byron's looking pretty good. I think he's got a 30-point gap.
Short of him getting he's got a 30-point. Blaney's plus 10 in fourth.
Blaney had a fun post-race interview calling a fellow driver a hack. That driver being Denny Hamlin.
He was currently tied with Truex, 17 points out going into the race.
And both of those cars broke at Homestead.
Yeah, they did. And Chris Buescher has got a win status. He's 43 points out going into the last race. So it's win or you're done.
Yeah, it was my dark horse to get in.
He didn't have a great weekend.
The Denny Hamlin quote from his podcast?
No.
And part of his explanation.
No, but I kind of know where you're going to go with this.
So I found it. I'm pretty sure this is taken from. They're talking about racing and stuff. And he goes, what we're trying to do is get half a car length ahead so we can say, okay, it's my spot, concede, get in line, and let's go. And that's what I tried to do in 1 and 2. But the lap after that, I go in there. I'm going to go deep again, but he's down on my door, and I'm hitting the gas to establish that it's my position. But as I gas up, he gasses up, so he's saying, no, you're not. I'm going to fight you for the spot. So I let off and leave him plenty of room, and we race side by side again down the backstretch. Denny, this is racing. You have to get your spot, not just, hey, I'm here, give it to me.
My immediate first thought was just complete coincidence, but like that screams crying Jordan meme. And then I'm like, oh yeah, he's his co-owner. Speaking of crying Jordan,
maybe memes. I'm not a pro racer and I don't understand how this all works, but from a fan perspective, your car needs to be faster than the one next to it.
Yeah. It's getting a little tiresome hearing.
But didn't I text you he was going to have an excuse or blame somebody for why?
That's about, well, that's par for the course for him nowadays.
Pretty much what I read was Ryan Blaney raced me too hard. He didn't give me the spot.
Yeah.
Blaney had a good run.
He did. He's sitting plus 10 going into Martinsville. So, man, I can't believe we're 2 weeks away from Phoenix, or a week and a half away from Phoenix now.
No, we got Martinsville coming up, and then it's Championship 4.
Got my Xfinity tickets, so I may have goofed when I bought my tickets. We'll be there. The problem is that so apparently there are free kids tickets for the Xfinity race, and I didn't click the right link, so I ended up paying for my kids tickets.
Oh,
oops.
Yeah, so you can take $70 and flush it down the toilet that I could have got for free. So I gotta make some phone calls and see who's going to be in attendance that weekend. That's all right. Well, we're going to go to the race. And plus, the other thing is we discovered in the spring, they have the NASCAR kids area out in kind of the midway when you walk in. And kids had a ton of fun with that. They had like a little kind of podium set on the side, and they had a mini replica of the France trophy. My kids are like, I want the trophy. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was cool. And they had like Legos where you'd build like a Lego car, and then you'd run it down a ramp, and it would hit a wall, and it's good stuff. Yeah, it was good stuff. Like it's and drivers will pop in periodically for meet the kids and sign, and had a brief conversation in the spring with Anthony Alfredo, who was there at the time. So I'm not sure I don't know if they've released the schedule yet, but we'll get there. We'll go play in the kids area, keep the kids entertained, and hope that there's no ear infection this time around.
I mean, you got a fun spot. Arizona could be championship central here.
Yeah, look at that. Oh man. So so the World Series, if it goes 7 games, the World Series will be wrapping up actually the day I'm at the track.
Ooh. That's
So I was looking at I going back to Philly and the fact that Philly was unbeatable there, I'm just like, I'm not even gonna try for World Series tickets, like whatever. And they didn't sell out because a lot of people felt the same way as like, I'm not buying World Series tickets. It's not happening. And then as the game went on, Arizona goes in, shuts Philly down, game 6. And then they go in and shut Philly down in game 7 and win the pennant. And one of my friends actually had to take a business trip to Philadelphia, and he spent $300 to go to game 7. And I mean, it was a good game. It's just not if you're a Phillies fan. But it's
the Diamondbacks in the World Series.
No, the Diamondbacks. Yeah, the Diamondbacks were a plus 12,500 to win the World Series at the beginning of the season.
They've been there more in the past 30 years than the Cubs in the last.
Well, the Diamondbacks have only been a team since 1998. 1, but 2, they went in 2001, and that was a pretty ridiculous team when you look back on it.
Yeah, that was a great team.
And you have Randy Johnson and Kurt, prime Kurt Schilling anchoring that rotation, and
that was the rotation in the playoffs.
That was the rotation. Yeah, Randy Johnson threw like 5 games, I think, that World Series. Luis Gonzalez was having his best year, of his career that year. He had like 57 home runs or something like that. And Mark Grace was traded there a year or so before from the Cubs after an ugly divorce there. Finished his career out there. That was a sneaky good team that they had in 2001.
It really was.
And well, I mean, they won the World Series. They took out the Yankees, and that was not right after 9/11, and George Bush had that first pitch that he threw at Yankee Stadium there. He just came out there and threw a strike off the mound, and it was the best presidential first pitch ever. They interviewed him about that some years later, and he's like, don't bounce it. Don't bounce it. He's like, the whole time I'm walking out there, don't bounce it. Don't bounce it. Then he throws a strike. But yeah, Diamondbacks in the World Series. How about that? Who would have thought? Not me.
And Diamondbacks and Rangers.
You went back in March and said the World Series this year will be the Diamondbacks and the Rangers.
Go buy yourself a lottery ticket.
Yeah, or you would have been like, okay, let's go with the nice. Let's go with the nice people in the white jumpsuits. They'll take you to a place where the Diamondbacks and the Rangers will play in the World Series. Oh wait, no,
those 2 teams.
But yeah, it's the Super Bowl was in Phoenix this year. The Suns are gonna have a good team. The Diamondbacks are in the World Series. Like, what's going on? This shouldn't happen.
Must be the weather.
Yeah.
Which is finally starting to cool off.
I think that hot air came up to Michigan.
Oh, yeah? How bad was it? 60?
We warmed up to 75.
Oh,
78. Yeah.
Yeah, 70s yesterday.
It was only 84 a couple days ago today.
The Detroit area got up to like 82, 83.
Eesh, so. That's pretty warm for this time of year.
I'll take it over the weekend where it was like 40 degrees and maybe a chance of snow, and I'm like, I don't want snow yet.
I'm ready for it. Bring it on.
Yeah, 70 degrees was a little too warm.
Our next 10 days are going to be in the low to mid 80s. I'm like, I can live with that.
Yeah, that's nice. I miss that weather. I really do miss the weather. I do prefer Southern California. Their highs aren't as outrageous as Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, The temperature range in San Diego is 67 to 72. That's it.
Yep. It's perfect.
67 in December, 72 in July. I think it was Lewis Black had the joke. The world's easiest job is weatherman in San Diego. And it's like, all right, we're going to go over to Bill in the San Diego Weather Center forecast. How's the weather? Nice. Back to you.
That's it. That's all you need.
That's about it.
Until I come back home and then the hurricane hits.
Yeah, that
was second week of December and it rains.
Yeah.
You got the second hurricane in the last 100 years to hit the Southern California area.
I was there for a historic moment.
You know what?
And we were messing around outside too. It didn't hit us. It missed us. It went further inland than it was supposed to, which is nice.
They talk about, like, off topic here. They talk about, millennials are these entitled slackers and everything. It's like, you know what? We've been through some stuff. Like, we haven't had a world war yet. But it's like, we had, the first 15 years or so are pretty, there was Desert Storm, but the first 15 years are pretty lax. And then all of a sudden, you have 9/11, you got these 20-year wars, you got a housing/credit market collapse, you've got a global pandemic, you've got all, another potential housing crisis in the works here. It's like, come on. That's all in the last 20 years. And the good thing is, by the time all that stuff hit, I was old enough to drink.
I wasn't. Had to wait a little bit. But now I can, so cheers to that one.
Wow.
At least you knew the world before stuff hit the fan. I only knew the world as stuff was hitting the fan.
Yeah, that is true.
Babies.
You damn kids. Yeah, it's like, I remember a simpler time.
Oh, I would like to think that my generation was the last good generation.
when the drama on the internet was, you've got mail, and that was it. AOL keyword movies. Are you old enough to remember America Online?
I wasn't even in the States, I think.
Do you ever hear of it? Was called AIM, AOL Instant Messenger.
I have.
That shut down probably 10, 15 years ago now, probably.
Oh, I have no idea.
AIM was
time.
I was, God, what were we, about 12 when AIM came out? 12, 13 years old?
Yeah, it was really high school and college.
That was such a big deal. It's like, oh, I can just sign into the internet. I can message somebody. I'm like, hey, I'm going to message Eric right now. And
AIM shut down in 2017 of December.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess nobody used it for the last 15 years. Honestly, the last time I used AIM, I was probably in college.
Yeah, it was college. And then it phased out, I think, when I left.
Yeah, it phased out. Some people used the Google. Google had I'm sure. Maybe
MSN Messenger was the other big one.
I never used that. I used AIM, and then I went to Google Messages or whatever it was called. That was integrated into Gmail.
Oh, I remember that. There was always that chat that popped up.
Yep, that was it. And then after that, it was just text messaging.
Good old text messaging.
You haven't lived until you had to go through dial-up.
I'm so happy I never had to live through that. But I had to use fax machines, so I learned how to use those. No one uses those in the US, but we use them all the time in Japan.
I remember when I bought my first house, we had to fax all our paperwork over.
Oh.
It was like they didn't have e-sign. Yeah, I mean, this is like, I'm making it sound like I'm 50 years old. Like, no, this is like 2011 that this happened. We had to pull all our like bank statements and tax returns and fill out these forms, and we had this like 50-page document, and we just like you have to fax it to the bank. So like, you know what, whatever. I print off everything. I've got this, this stack that's like this thick. Go over to FedEx office. I'm like, fax this for me, please. And they're like, that'll be $36. I'm like, $36?
I love DocuSign.
Yeah, it was so much easier the second time around. We were moving out to Arizona, and I remember we left on a Saturday. Like, I quit my job at my old company on a Friday. Saturday at noon, I had a U-Haul to the back of my truck, and we started driving from Illinois to Arizona. And we stopped in St. Louis the first night. The second night, we were in Oklahoma City. And the third day, we're driving from Oklahoma City to Albuquerque. And we get a call in about Amarillo, Texas. Like, you've got 3 offers. And we're like driving and talking to the realtor. And we decided to accept the offer on one of them, and we DocuSigned the paperwork in our hotel room in Albuquerque. So we weren't even in Phoenix yet, and our house is under contract. And sale didn't go very smooth because the buyer had some unreasonable demands. But I remember they sent over their demands after the inspection, and they basically they wanted us to like replace all the trim on the first floor of the house, or like paint it all to match. Like, no. Yeah, they wanted to do all this cosmetic work. Like, no. Do it yourself.
You don't do cosmetic work on a inspection.
Yeah. And then they said something to the extent of like, I forget what. Oh, so they sent over this report, and my wife had flown back. She drove with me, but then she flew back home because we didn't know how long it was going to be. It ended up not being very long, but she flew back home for about a month to pack up, and then she was still working for a little bit. And so we're on this 3-way call. I'm in actually the concourse at Chase Field yelling at my realtor because it's so loud at the ballpark. And I'm like, no, we are not doing that. And I said, you know what? You can tell them if they don't knock that up, I'm ripping the contract up. And I don't care about the stupid payment that they put down. Chase Field, we've gone full circle.
Yeah, we did.
Martinsville this weekend, Mexico Grand Prix. About it.
Yeah, no races to look forward to with BCD or WND, but keep an eye out. We'll have schedules coming up soon.
We'll have schedules soon, and we'll do some, some open racing, get on the stream. Hey, you had a good Wednesday night. You had some good analytics on Twitch. You didn't do the multi-stream though, but
no, I gotta play around with that. Make sure I know what I'm doing and get it running.
So Twitch loosened the rules so we can go back to multi-streaming again. We're a Twitch affiliate, but under the old rules, you could not multi-stream when you were a Twitch affiliate. Now you can, but you can't go, hey, come over, check out my YouTube channel while you're on the multi-stream.
Yeah, it's all right.
Whatever. I wasn't going to do that anyway. So just triples our exposure for these live streams. So that's good for us. And hopefully help with some of our both YouTube and Facebook exposure there. Hopefully,
yeah, good.
Hopefully though, one of the things I guess I can announce next year when Wednesday Night Dash comes back, not only will we be on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, but we will also be on Kick. So that'll be a fun new addition.
Entering a new world.
Yeah. So aside of that, that's really about it. Taka, again, thanks for stopping by, and again, happy birthday. Although it's
thank you very much.
Probably not your birthday anymore now.
No, not quite.
The recording is cut over into your time zone, so We need to do some, Eric. We need to plan out some. We should still be able to get the same stints, especially if we do like Class C open wheel.
Yeah, it should be good.
We need to do more of those. We get into the same open race and get some of those out of the way. I realized tonight, like, this is the second time I've been in a truck this year. I need to get some more. I'm gonna do some more ARCA, but I need to get back in the truck, and I need to do some.
Been in a few times.
I think I've decided that for my open sessions, I'm gonna do ARCA, I'm gonna do truck, I'm gonna do iRacing, and I think that's it. I'm not gonna mess with any road racing for now.
I'll probably do Xfinity over ARCA, and I need to get some road in.
I just not ready for the Xfinity. I don't think.
It's a fun car. I like it more than ARCA.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. ARCA is typically in the past been kind of toxic, which is one of my pet peeves of iRacing. Is that it's like, dude, chill. It's iRacing, playing a video game. We're here to burn off, some steam, not by cursing out each other.
Of the fun people.
On that note,
hopefully next year this time I'll be racing with you guys.
So. Yes, you gotta get your wheel stand.
I need to buy the stand. I'll probably get it from Extreme Sim.
Not probably, you will.
Yeah, I the goal is Black Friday deals, hopefully I can find something on Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
I'm sure they'll have something. They've in the past had some specials last year. The one thing I made the mistake, and I wrote about this in my blog post where I switched to the wheel stand over here. I tried to get away with a $75 Amazon stand, and every time you turn, the stand would like go like this. Every time you turn left, and just like it was making me nauseous. I'm just like, this is no, like this thing's terrible. It was not worth $75.
It's a 3D thing. You turn and you feel like you're turning with it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be thrown up all over my racing wheel. Not doing that. So no. I didn't, because you have it now. There is no vomit on that wheel. I'll tell you that. I can confidently say that. But moving that the SXT V2, with my limited space in this room, was a wise decision. Now that I have my monitor stands, I've got this clean install over here, and it's great. And I got my bucket seat that I turned into an office chair, which I'll be writing about now we're in the off season. It's been a lot of fun. It's just, I feel like now that I'm in like an actual like racing seat, I'm like, this feels more real now versus sitting in the old like desk chair. But yeah, Eric, you're still on the kitchen table chair, aren't you?
Yep. I will be more than happy to test out anything and offer my feedback.
It's put a couple mounting brackets on just a normal chair base, and you've got yourself a chair. I was worried about the weight of this chair being like making this thing top heavy, but it's not a problem, not at all. This has been great. It's a pretty entry level bucket seat, but guys actually race in this chair. Like I could put a 5-point harness on this thing if I wanted to. So you never know when you're working at your desk, there's something might crash through your house. Yeah, buckle up for safety.
Gotta watch out for hurricanes.
That is true. frracingonline.com. At frracingonline on social media. Again, if you can't see the show Friday, you can check out our replay Saturday on our channel, or you can watch it Saturday afternoon on Stadium Scene TV. Taka, again, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, we'll see you next week as we hype up my Phoenix weekend. Woo!
Take care, everybody.